We're at a critical time right now. The Save Our Bacon Act, which is horrific, has already passed in the House of Representatives, heading to the Senate. Now what's going to happen? We are going to see all of our hard work for animals taken away. It's possible that pigs will be back in gestation crates. The worst possible fate for them, other than the torturous death that we know that they are going to endure. But we can stop it. We can get on the phone, we can get on our emails, we can get on social media, and we can say enough is enough. We did the work. We saved animals. We're not going back. Right now is the time. Pick up your phone today.
We have to stop the Save Our Bacon Act. We are trying to get everybody who's watching, first of all, share out with your animal-loving friends to call their U.S. senators and defeat the Save Our Bacon Act. We have a fabulous panel with us today of animal rights leaders. Leah Garces, amazing animal rights icon known throughout the world. Leah Wilborn of In Defense of Animals, and Matthew Dominguez of Compassion in World Farming. I want to start with you, Leah, because I saw your social media posts. You're so emotional about this. What's at stake here, and what would you say to people watching to motivate them to not just go, this is terrible, let's stop it, but to pick up the phone? What should they do?
Yeah, great question. So in the next 2 weeks, the Senate Ag Committee is meeting, and they will literally decide the fate of millions of farmed animals, whether they can move around at all or whether they're stuck in a crate for their whole lives. And it will override our rights to protect farmed animals at the state level, and also farmers' rights to compete fairly against big ag. We don't have a lot of time, and we've never had a moment like this. In my 25 years of advocacy, there has never been a moment where we have such a concrete binary decision being made. Are animals going to be protected into the future? Are all of our hard work to protect farmed animals is going to be erased? It's a yes or no situation, and everyone needs to call their senator to make sure they vote no on any farm bill that includes the Save Our Bacon Act.
Well, you are looking at the number. Call it. If you have a phone, forget what we're saying. Just make that call to your U.S. senators. Everybody has 2 U.S. senators. I just called Senator Alex Padilla moments ago before this live started, because I never asked somebody else to do something I haven't done. I called back when it was in the House of Representatives, Ted Lieu 5 times, and I spoke to 3 people. Now, when I called Alex Padilla, I got a recording. But you're saying, Matthew Dominguez of Compassion in World Farming, that sometimes people, I got a voicemail. But if you're leaving a voicemail, is that effective, sir?
Yes, it absolutely is. And we highly recommend that people also make sure that you email your representatives, and frankly, do it daily. As Leah mentioned, we have 2 or 3 weeks to fight this back. This is the meteor headed towards Earth when it comes to our movement and our ability to protect farm animals on the state level. And so make sure that you call. And there are members of the staff that do count your calls and your emails and report back to whether it's the chief of staff or the legislative director. So when that senator goes into a room to either vote or to caucus, they know how their constituents feel. And what we need is to overwhelm the numbers where they see that their constituents are overwhelmingly in support of our position, and to ensure that the Farm Bill does not include any language of the Save Our Bacon Act.
It's really so horrific that I can't even wrap my mind around it. It's almost like our society is sanctioning torture. Legalized torture. Leah Wilborn of In Defense of Animals. This is torture.
Yes, absolutely, Jane. There's really no other word for it. Honestly, our entire animal farming system tortures farmed animals daily. But this would roll back the most basic, most minimal protections. I don't even necessarily call them protections, but they are voter approved. They are the most minimal standards passed by voters, like Prop 12 in California, passed in 2018. Question 3 in Massachusetts, very similar to Prop 12. But gestation crates for pigs, mother pigs cannot even turn around or stand up or stretch their limbs, often for their entire pregnancy. So around 4 months that they're confined in this hell. And then calves, who most people don't realize, male calves in the dairy industry are slaughtered, but if they're not sent immediately to be slaughtered because they're useless to the dairy industry, they can be used for veal. So they are sent to and confined in veal crates so tiny that they too can't stand up and they can't build muscle. That is on purpose so that their flesh is more tender, and that is veal. So Prop 12 and Question 3, California and Massachusetts both set the most basic minimum standards. It would be 24 square foot of space for pigs, 48 square feet of space for calves. But even that is like a tiny closet. So this is the most minimum protections for farmed animals. So this is absolutely crucial that everybody call this number. And this is going to torture even more farmed animals up throughout the next 5 years, most likely, because that is what this farm bill represents, is legislation that's going to be enacted for the next 5 years. So this is huge.
We're putting the number up so everybody can see it and immediately call their representatives. I happen to be at Farm Sanctuary's 40th anniversary celebration recently, and I was just rolling my camera, as I always am, when U.S. Senator Adam Schiff from California brought this issue up. I didn't even know that he was going to mention it, but thank God he did. Here's what he had to say.
Right now, our current fight is over the Farm Bill, as Jean mentioned, because among other things, they're trying to preempt Proposition 12. Passed by a strong majority of California voters, demanding humane conditions for farm animals. And California has set the standard for the country, which is why they're taking aim at it, because they know we're such a big market that what California does, much of the rest of the country will follow. And we need to make sure that we preserve Prop 12. We also have a lot of work to do in the Farm Bill itself.
But if you had a phone in your hand and you reached either a voicemail or an actual person, one of your senator's offices, what exactly would you say? Because sometimes people are held back by, I don't know exactly what to say. I'm not an expert on this issue. What would you say?
Yeah, I actually live in Georgia, and Senator Warnock is my senator. He sits on the Ag Committee, who is actually writing this bill as we speak. And I'm actually planning to go up and see him with a delegation of faith leaders, farmers, and advocates. And I'm going to say, Senator Warnock, the voters deserve protection. They voted in California, in Massachusetts, to protect farmed animals. And farmers deserve to compete fairly on the market. And right now, if we allow for Save Our Bacon to be put into the Farm Bill, it would erase our ability to protect farmed animals at the state level and for farmers to compete fairly. Do not vote for a Farm Bill that allows for Save Our Bacon to come into force. We can't allow that. It overrides state rights. It overrides voter rights. It cannot be allowed. And something else I wanted to mention is who is behind all of this? How did this even happen? If you look at who is behind this, this is a matter of lobbying. Basically, voters of California passed a law. The big pork didn't like it. They lobbied, they donated, they rewrote a law, they handed it to the House of Representatives, and the House of Representatives said, thumbs up. That is overriding our state rights. Now, who is behind that? The National Pork Council. Who is the main member there? Smithfield. And who owns Smithfield? WH Group, which is a Chinese conglomerate. So essentially we have these huge corporations that are pulling the strings in our Congress, and we need to remind senators who they actually work for. They don't work for corporations. They work for us as voters, and midterms are coming up, so they should really care about this.
And people are wondering, well, is this just for one state? No, this number is for the U.S. Capitol. Okay, the U.S. Capitol building. So just write this number down and put it in your phone. Get it in your phone, because, as I said, when it was in the House, I called Ted Lieu, who is my congressman, 5 times. And I talked to 2 or 3 people. So I got 2 voicemails, 3 humans. That's a pretty good track record. So again, everybody, all hands on deck. I mean, we absolutely have to stop this. It's crucial. Now, I literally copied something out of Leia's Instagram post. And that said, if you happen to live in one of these states, you have extra impact because your senator is on the Ag Committee. And I'll just read them out. Arkansas, Kentucky, North Dakota, Iowa, Mississippi, Kansas, Alabama, West Virginia, South Dakota, Nebraska, Minnesota, Colorado, Illinois, New Jersey, New Mexico, Georgia, Vermont, Pennsylvania, California, Michigan. Okay, so I want to break this down. Maybe, Matthew, you could take a crack at this. When we say, call your senator, first of all, everybody has 2 senators. Are both those senators going to be on the Ag Committee?
So with the Ag Committee, it is split up where it's majority Republican and majority Democrat. And the states that Leah put in her post represent that you have 1 senator that from each of these states that sit on the Ag Committee. And what's incredibly important right now, as Leah pointed out, is that this bill in the Senate is being drafted as we speak. There are members of staff and senators that are working on drafting the Senate version of the Farm Bill, and these are the folks that control the fate. Now, it's absolutely critical that you contact your senators, even if they are not on the Ag Committee, or in the case of where they are just a senator, you need to contact them, because we need to make this so toxic that neither party wants to take this up and wants to vote on it. But in this moment in particular, if you live in any of these states, it is vital that you reach out to both your senators, and at least one of them is on the Ag Committee. Now, for me, I live in New York, and one of the most important people in Congress in this particular moment is Senator Chuck Schumer, and he is the minority leader for the Democratic Party in the Senate. So you better betcha I'm calling and I'm emailing and working my heart out to get a meeting with his staff to discuss why he particularly needs to be opposed to this.
What does 1 call do, Leah?
I think that is what most people think, is that it's not going to do any good. And that is so not true. They record all of the calls they have to. It's required. So calls are actually more important right now than sending emails. But sending emails also, we need all of it, right? We need everybody to make as many calls as they can. But please do not believe that. That is so not true. They need to feel pressure, and they need to have those phones ringing 24/7 and not having enough staff to handle it all. They need to feel that from all of us. So, I mean, anybody that cares about animals at the very least. I mean, there's also language in this farm bill that could imply that it actually could be interpreted to effectively override long-standing bans on horse slaughter as well, and require states to allow horse meat sales, including overturning bans in places that have had bans for decades, like in Texas. So this isn't even just farmed animals. And that there's also ways that it's affecting the fur industry, and mink are going to be more at risk, and more mink sales are going to be happening due to language in this farm bill. It's very, very sneaky, the things that they're trying to get through here. So please, everyone, make your calls and share this with everyone. And our alert is coming out, the most updated one that's really targeting senators this Friday. But you could go to idausa.org/farmed animals and look for latest news. You can share that article, share any of these social media posts, if you're on social media, just share this with anyone you know who is an animal lover. They don't have to be vegan, right? Who doesn't care about animals? But we also, I think it's very important, we have to get across to the public that even with these animal welfare laws, if you're buying animal products, there's no way that it's humane. This is where we start. We start by pressuring Congress, politicians. Lobbying is such a huge problem. So many of them are influenced by millions of dollars in campaign contributions, right, from these industries. So we have to pressure them. These animal welfare laws are critical, but we also have to recognize that farmed animals are still tortured daily, just in the standard practices. They're mutilated, forcibly impregnated, their babies taken from them, and they're all slaughtered. So that is just a key message I would like to get across too.
Absolutely. And everybody here has been doing social media, and you don't have to be a member of an organization to do social media. Some of the most effective social media influencers don't work for any particular organization. We were struck, in fact, our social media director, Michelle Celestino, contacted me this morning and said, oh, look at Leah Garces and her social media post about this issue. So I'd like to play what you've been posting, Leah, because it's an example of what everybody can do. And I know Matthew's also done great social media posts.
What's the big deal and what's happening with the Farm Bill? I'm going to tell you in 60 seconds or less what you need to do this week and the latest. So last week, the House passed the Farm Bill, and it still contains that dangerous language known as Save Our Bacon Act, which overrides states' abilities to protect farmed animals and what goes in our grocery stores and farmers' ability to compete fairly. Now it goes to the Senate, particularly it goes to the Senate Ag Committee. And in the next few weeks before they break, before Memorial Day, they're going to make a decision on this. That's right, we have like 3 weeks. If you have a senator who sits on that Ag Committee, and I will list those states below, you matter a lot. Your call matters a lot. Call them this week. Call them and call them and call them until they give you the answer that you want, which is that they will vote no on any farm bill that contains this dangerous language.
So we have somebody saying, I'm in Canada. What can I do to help? You can call. Animal agriculture is destroying the planet. Climate change does not know geographic boundaries. And most of the time, they don't ask, even though, like if you call the switchboard, which I've done now numerous times, they'll say, if you don't know exactly who you're calling for, who your senator is, they'll say, what's your zip code? But the truth is that you could call any senator. I plan on calling other senators in other states because we, the voters, passed Prop 12 here in California, but it's going to affect all the states. Because California said we're not going to allow the sale of products that come from these horrific pig gestation crates. So that, California being either the 4th or the 5th largest economy in the world, depending on what day of the week it is, that impacts all the states. If these people are going to try to use taxpayer dollars to torture animals on my watch, I feel very entitled to call any U.S. senator, Alaska, or Maine, or Florida, or any of the U.S. senators that represent these districts on this list. What are your thoughts on that, Matthew?
Things to do is just to get as many people that you know, friends, family. I mean, if you live in Canada, if you live in Europe, if you live no matter where you're at, you know folks that live in America. You have social media. You're able to post, whether it's Leah or Mai or other people's Instagram posts or Twitter or whatever it is, to get the message out. We need folks to contact Congress immediately. It is, again, it's the meteor headed towards Earth, and we need to speak up. Now, in the case of people that live in California, you're exactly right. They're trying to take away a law that was passed in your state overwhelmingly by voters. Same thing in Massachusetts. There's nearly a dozen states that have banned gestation crates, and many of them have the sales bans that prevent the cruelty from coming into their states. That is a right that the Supreme Court has upheld. It's important to remember that these arguments in trying to nullify Prop 12 and others have been happening for nearly a decade now. They've gone to the Supreme Court, the conservative court, and they lost. This is constitutional. It is a state's rights to do this. This is their last ditch effort. We win this, we win on gestation crates, we win on battery cages, we win on veal crates. And I think that this is going to be the end of the fight in Congress on this particular issue. The next 2 weeks, the next 3 weeks are going to determine the fate of millions and millions of animals.
I would like to say that the other issue here is that processed meat is officially cancer causing. And guess what bacon is? Processed meat. So these people not only want to torture animals, help Chinese companies with US tax dollars, but they're also encouraging a product that is cancer causing. I mean, the moral degeneracy of all this is beyond comprehension. Now, we've got a surprise guest I'm going to add to the stage right now. Karen LaCava, you texted that you just called both of your U.S. senators. I sent you the link. Jump on and tell us what your experience was.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for all you're doing. I basically, told them both. First of all, I had to ask for the specific senators when I called the number. You have to know the names of your senators. They will not just send you to the correct one. I told them that they needed to change the verbiage and remove the Save Our Bacon Act, that we need to have compassion for these animals. It's not about money, it's about compassion, and we need to save. I'm in California, so we need to keep our humane laws in effect, and we need to let Washington know this is just not right.
Let me ask you, did you get a human being or did you leave a voicemail?
I had to leave a voicemail for both of them, yes.
All right, well, that's okay because it's logged. According to the experts that we have on here, it's logged. So do you plan on calling again?
Yes, I'm going to call every day now that I know I can. I will. And I'm also going to email them as soon as I finish watching your
yes,
live.
And let me tell you something else. I'm going to give you another homework assignment. My dear friend, Karen LaCava, a friend and neighbor, great activist, a vegan caterer.
We're emailing, we're doing social media. In fact, tomorrow or Thursday night at 7:00 for people that live in New York, Leah, myself, and Voters for Animal Rights are hosting a town hall. So if you go to my social media, you go to the description page of it in the top, you'll see a link where you can reserve a spot to join our town hall if you live in New York. So we're getting people active in particular states. We're also going to be doing a town hall for people that live in Minnesota and Georgia because these are critical states on Tuesday as well. So there is a lot going on, but the most important thing is for you to make your call, get your friends and family, and just think about it. There are millions of animal advocates across this country. There are a lot of people that care about this issue. If every single one of them call and get one or two of their friends to call, we will win this. We are going to win if people stand up and speak out. I have no doubt about it. But I will tell you all the tactics that we typically use, all the things that we do to get calls in, to get emails in. We're lobbying. I'm flying tomorrow morning at 6:00 in the morning to DC to be there for a week to lobby on the ground and meet with senator staff members. So we're pulling out all the stops on this one.
We have to. And, I just don't understand it. It's so sick. These babies have to nurse with their mother behind bars, and then they're separated very rapidly. It's a sick system. And I think it really is an indictment of our culture. What has happened to our culture? And I want to say something else because there was an organization that was sort of a chamber of commerce that was speaking up in favor of pig gestation crates, claiming that it was causing, getting rid of the gestation crates was causing prices to rise. And I want to go to Alea on this because I can tell you what's causing prices to rise are tariffs. All right. That's having an impact. But yet we all know prices are going up for gas. Prices are going up for all sorts of food. But yet they'll take that and try to twist it and say the reason prices are going up is because pigs can turn around. I mean, how demented is that?
Yeah. And what price are we talking about here? Because what the factory farming industry does is they outsource that cost, right? So first there's the cost to the animals, their emotional well-being, their physical well-being, that is a cost to them. Then there's the cost to the environment, there's the cost to our health. It just gets out, it's put outside of the system. So people are used to cheap meat, but what they don't realize is they're paying for their health, they're paying for environmental costs, they're paying, and the animals themselves are paying the ultimate price, obviously. So you could try to talk about, tariffs, you could talk about drought, you could talk about feed prices going up, you could talk about all kinds of things. Generally, grocery prices are going up. And you could talk about how our subsidies are lopsided. I mean, when, chicken nuggets are cheaper than blueberries, there is something very wrong with our system. But ultimately, what it is a bankrupt system that the cost of the system is not really, the meat doesn't really cost what it costs. That cost is put onto animals, to our health, and to the environment, and everywhere else but the industry, who are making top dollar. They are absolutely making profits, and they want to keep animals in cages and crates because they make more money off of it.
Absolutely. I don't know if there's a word or something that I'm not saying that might motivate people, Leah, to make that call. I know you're all very busy, so we don't want to keep you any longer than we have to. But I will say that when I was at the 40th anniversary of Farm Sanctuary, Gene Bauer, the co-founder and the president of Farm Sanctuary, also spoke. Here's what he had to say. How horrible would this be?
Farm animals are seen just as commodities. They're put in cages and crates so small they can't move. California took a very bold step to say that this was not acceptable. These animals need at least enough space to turn around and stretch their limbs. Very modest. But agribusiness has been fighting it for years, and they've lost in court. They lost at the U.S. Supreme Court. Now they unfortunately have been able to get language in the Farm Bill. And that Farm Bill passed the House of Representatives tragically, and now it's going to the U.S. Senate. So U.S. senators now need to act to get Save Our Bacon Act out of the Farm Bill. This is our last hope. So please act today.
So let's get some final thoughts from everybody, because one thing I will say that's positive out of this, all the animal rights groups have come together. A lot of times we're in our own silos doing our own thing and, oh, well, I can't join this. No, this is all hands on deck, complete emergency. So once again, I would love to get final thoughts, starting with Leah of In Defense of Animals. I know IDA is doing everything it can. What's your final pitch to people to do this today? Make this call.
My final pitch is tell everyone you know about this. Farmed animals are being tortured in our food system, and it's going to be even worse for years for them. More farmed animals are going to be tortured by the millions and billions in this system if we do not stop the Save Our Bacon Act. And we must educate the public that even if they pass farmed animal welfare laws, farmed animals are tortured to become animal products. For their flesh, their milk, and their eggs, they are all killed. So the most effective thing we can do, in addition to making sure that we protect farmed animal welfare laws, is to stop giving these industries our money, don't buy any animal products, and live vegan.
Thank you. And before we get to the next final thought, I've decided to call the number. I'm calling Alex Padilla, one of our U.S. senators. We already heard from Adam Schiff. Yes. Hi. Yes. And I know California is a two-party state, so I'm not going to put you on, but we're live on a podcast. We want to know what U.S. Senator Alex Padilla is doing to stop the Save Our Bacon Act within the Farm Bill that will nullify Proposition 12, passed overwhelmingly by California's voters, to stop torturous pig gestation crates and other extreme confinement of farm animals. What is Senator Alex Padilla doing? Because we want to defeat this. Okay, thank you. He's saying he's double checking and he's going to be right back. I'm not putting him on speaker because California is a two-party state. You need the permission of both people in order to broadcast their voices. But I'm excited because I've reached somebody. See, that's the other thing. You can leave a voicemail, then you can call back in 15 minutes and see if you reach somebody. And just because you've reached somebody doesn't mean that you can't call back again, because they have a lot of people working there. You might reach a man one day and a woman the next day, or half an hour later, a totally different person. So what I urge people, if you're upset about this, and we have so many comments happening right now, how sickening. PIA for the animals, have you called? Another damn vegan, horribly cruel, have you called? I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but the most important thing that you can do, I know you're in Canada, Charlene, but still you can call, okay? And here is the number. I'm very excited to see what Senator Alex Padilla's office is going to say, because we heard from Senator Adam Schiff, his other colleague, and he proactively brought up this past weekend the need to stop the Save Our Bacon Act. So given that, first of all, bacon is cancer causing, which is something that nobody discusses. I mean, if you were feeding your kids cigarettes, people would call child services, but people are feeding bacon and hot dogs to pig-based hot dogs and meat-based hot dogs to their kids, and nobody says a word. We're still holding. Interesting, isn't it? Isn't it? Maybe he's actually getting some information on this, because I'll tell you one thing. I called one member of House of Representatives and they said, oh, he's a co-sponsor. And then they said, well, maybe he isn't. So sometimes these people answering the phones waffle, and they are not actually, they don't actually have the very latest information. All right, here we go. Thank you. I took a screenshot. I'll be calling immediately after this. Okay. Nothing that takes place in animal agriculture is justifiable. I get that you want to argue with people who are on the thread, but it's more important to make the call. Tina Walker, I know you're a very constant watcher of Unshade TV. Have you made the call, Tina? If not, make the call and then, call us back if we're still on the air and let us know what happened. This is quite a... Hello? Interesting how government works. Let's see what happens. I'm still on. 4 minutes and 26 seconds. All right. Well, I might interrupt you, Leah, but continue.
Go ahead.
Your final thoughts.
It would be a worthy interruption. I think Gene Bauer put it really well. He said, this is our last hope. And really what we're talking about is this is the floor. This is the worst. And we can't even stop this from happening. How can we ever hope to have that world where animals are truly free? We have to stop this from happening. And my request to people is don't just call once, call every day. And what you should ask them to do is make a public statement that you will stand firm and you will vote no if the Farm Bill contains the Save Our Bacon language. So ask them to make a public statement. Keep calling every day until you get the answer we need.
You've raised a very important point. In other words, put them on notice that you can't just say, thank you, I've got your message, that proactively we want these senators to take a stand, a public stand. Can you address that, Matthew?
Luckily, one of your senators, Schiff, he authored a letter in 2025 that has over 30 Democrats that have publicly said that they will fight against this language in the Farm Bill. What we need people to do is contact their senators. It's as simple as that. I know we've repeated it over and over again, but again, this is the most important thing.
Heather is saying, should we call if our senators' names isn't on the list? Yes.
You should call your senators whether they're on the list or not. Everybody should call both of their senators, call every day. And I agree with Leah. You should be asking your representatives to make a public statement, to stand on the side of justice when it comes to not allowing the pork producers to be able to take away states' rights, to be able to push away what voters have done in numerous states In addition to that, one of the things that we haven't talked about is there's many animal welfare laws that would be stricken down by this, but Harvard Animal Law Program did a wonderful report that showed that there's over 600 public health and environmental laws that are at risk being shot down by this. So this isn't just about animal welfare. This is about states' rights. This is about democracy. This truly is our last stand on this issue. We can do this. We just all have to come together and we have to act quickly.
When is this going to a vote?
So what we're hearing, now it's important to remember, this is changing in real time. When it comes to legislation, especially in Congress, it's very, very difficult to know exactly what's happening. Last week, we heard that the Speaker of the House was going to postpone the Farm Bill vote until after recess, until next week. And then that same evening, he put it up for a debate on the floor at 1 o'clock in the morning and passed it the next morning at 9 o'clock. So we cannot trust what we're hearing. What we do know is you need to call today, but we're looking at that the Ag Committee is trying to get the language for the Senate out of the Ag Committee by the end of May. So as we've been saying, we have about 2 or 3 weeks to do our work. And this is why it is imperative that we call today, tomorrow, the next day until this is killed.
Okay, believe it or not, it's almost 8 minutes and I'm still waiting for him to get back to me. I haven't disconnected. So I'm listening. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Yes, sir. Hi. Wait, are you saying that you can't say outright that Alex Padilla is against this? Okay, but what if I'm also a taxpayer? I also collected signatures for Prop 12. I was at a farmer's market collecting signatures for Prop 12. I threw a party for Prop 12. Can't you tell me is Alex Padilla going to try to stop the Save Our Bacon Act? His colleague Adam Schiff has spoken publicly saying it's a nightmare. Yeah, but we want answers from you. I'm not just asking you to pass along the message. I'm asking proactively for Senator Alex Padilla to take a stand on this and denounce this because he represents California and California voters passed Prop 12. You understand and pass along the message, but honestly, it's not a good answer. It's not a good answer. This is a no-brainer. Alex Padilla needs to support the voters of California who voted overwhelmingly for Prop 12. Understood? Yeah, I mean, all right. Thank you very much. We have our answer, and I'm going to be sharing it with our viewers, but it's not a great answer. This really should be, yes, we will help defeat the Save Our Bacon Act. Thank you so much. Not happy with that answer. Not happy with that answer.
Jane, I think the points that you just made is also very important for people to get across on the phone, is that voters have already spoken. Voters have already passed Prop 12 and Measure 3 in Massachusetts. So these senators would be going against what people have already enacted after years of hard work, the voters themselves. Right. So I think
agree. And I'll tell you what, I will give them props for actually responding to me, not just saying, yeah, and click. So he did go away for like 5 minutes to get some answers. So I do give credit when credit's due, but the answer we got was not what we want. As for a script, we'll try to put a script together because I think didn't you have a script, Leah?
Yeah, in my social media at Leah Gar says you can find a script in that particular post that Jane showed. I'm wearing like an orange sweatshirt. So just scan for the orange sweatshirt and there is a script written in there. I think Matt Dominguez also has scripts written in his. It's, if you want to DM me, I will definitely send you a script. I have a whole document I can share with you. Just, contact any of us. And I think all of us would be willing to provide scripts. I think all of the organizations have scripts, and me as an individual, I can give you a script I have.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you all for rolling with the punches. Do you have a final word, Matthew, before we sign off?
I know that we lost in the House, but I will tell you that if you would have told me 6 months ago that we even had a chance to win in the House, I would have told you that you were crazy. We are going to win this. I have no doubt about it. When you think about the people that are on this video, when you think about all the people that are watching, all the people that we have spoken to, the folks that are viewing our videos and commenting, we are the majority and we are going to win. It is truly the people versus big pork, and we will win just like we did with Prop 12, just like we did with Question 3, and just like we've done over and over again. We may be small, but we are mighty, and we are going to win at the end of this day. It just requires all of us to take action.
Well, as they say, from your mouth to God's ear, I'm going to do everything I can. I'm swearing right now, I will call 5 times a day. Right now. And I want everybody else to call 5 times a day. We'll come back live again if we need to, but thank you so much. Onward. And let's do this, people. The animals, the pigs cannot speak for themselves.
Neither can the calves or the hens. Thank you.
Exactly.
So it's a vegan Netflix. Okay, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. I love Unchained TV.
Unchained TV. Your life will change. It's just that easy.
Unchained TV has all sorts of content for everybody.
Unchained TV changed my life.
Unchained TV is crushing it.
I love Unchained TV. Unchained TV is my go-to.
Unchained TV. Who knew?
Unchained, baby. Yay!